this is what it means to kind of be a channel of transformation and transmutation. You allow yourself, you are of service to the flow of life, to work things through you, and you become like an information. It's like a, computer. Life is really mathematics. It's as if you take yourself and you are put into a program. By being injected to that program, there are a lot of change that happens. We are glitches in a way in the programs, and we are placed on some places to act in this way. The ancient Amazons, wherever they woke up because they had to defend their tribes, their principles, their code. As much as feminine, sacred feminine is about the global, the whole, we have to also understand the individuation principle. It's like, where are we coming from? What are our powers? What is our mission? And so on.
Welcome to the Heart of the Rose podcast with Marcel Bettini, a guardian of ancestral wisdom and the sacred feminine. This is the space where transformative conversations inspire you to reconnect with the sacred feminine within, awaken your inner power, and remember the truth of who you are. Together, we anchor light on the planet, nurturing a world that needs soul-aligned leaders now more than ever.
Welcome, Isshae. It's a pleasure to have you here.
Thank you for welcoming me. Thank you for the interview today. It's such a pleasure always to see you.
So, Isshae, I would like to ask you to introduce yourself. Like, who are you, and what makes your soul shining, or your heart happy, or what makes your life? What gives meaning to your life?
A very nice question. We tend to define ourselves with what we do, but it's nice to go back to the essence of who we are. And I like to see myself as a rose, or as a, let's say, a vibration, or as a ray of light. So, I go by the name of Isshae, but my other roles are cosmic ambassador, truth keeper, priestess of the temple of roses and guardian, and so on. So what makes me shine and my heart sings is, all we do, all that, we came to fulfill in this life. I feel that we are inhabited by mandates or missions that we came to do, and then we leave, going back to our essence home. So still in those missions, joy is the leading thread. Like it could be writing, it could be painting, it could be meeting with people who share the same, let's say, essence or mission. Many things that makes us shine have to be through joy, not always through suffering. So that's one of the teachings that I'm really remembering in this lifetime.
This is beautiful, but sometimes you need to go through a lot of pain to realize that you don't need to suffer anymore.
Yeah, totally. Our vision of pain, this morning I was thinking about it, like people who are sick or have like some conditions that makes us shrink our light or shrink our being on life. And indeed, pain is not just a concept. Sometimes we feel it in our body, in our hearts, like when you break up with someone. But at the same time, it's a transformative experience. It's like the baby, when he is born, he cries too. There's pain of the mother and the baby at the same time. So what is the end or the result of that pain? I think that's what we need to focus on. It's like, what is the underlying purpose of that experience? And it's very interesting that we start our conversation with this, because to do this, we have to have a part of us that is witnessing all what is happening, and not all of us is suffering. It's just a part of us that suffers, but there is a part of us that is watching everything. And I think our path is to always connect and remember that part. We can call it celestial, we can call it the angelic, we can call it the wise, the ego, but we have to remember that we have that presence connected to the source of life itself, and that this experience, earthly experience, is just temporary.
This is beautiful. Thank you. So I already, like you, when I met you, you were already this beautiful soul that you also helped me to remember more and more about my mission and about who I am. But I would like to ask you how it all started, like how this journey of remember who you are, or like the awakening or the sacred feminine, like how it started for you.
It's funny because, you know, when I remember I was a kid, I always thought that I'm living a dream. And it was for me a very difficult experience because, you know, I was asking around, you know, why am I dreaming? When can I wake up? How can I wake up? It all seemed like a theater or a play, you know, we are living. And it is still till today. I see it like also really like theater or like mathematics, you know, when you have many actors playing a role. And with regards to the feminine, healing the feminine, because we have to heal it, we have to experience the wound of the feminine. So we would have to experience the impact of patriarchy, the impact of violence, of sexual assaults, of extreme control, of what it means to be feminine, of the way we wear our clothes, the way we think. So the journey with the feminine is going deeply into the root of why are we so disconnected from our femininity, from our sexuality, from what it means to be a woman. Until today, I'm still discovering it. I like to call ourselves the carriers of the sacred water. So, and with the research I'm having at the moment, I'm going back through time to discover that ancient priestesses were able to procreate with themselves, from themselves, which we call parthenogenesis. So this brings me to the question, were there always men on earth? This is a very interesting question, and I would like to go deeper in that exploration, maybe not today, but were there always men? Were there always a need for men on earth? Now today they are playing the role of insemination and so on, but we have to think about what is the source of life. And I think that's where we connect with the real feminine, what it means, feminine and femininity, and the carriers of other. So I don't know what was your question, but this is what is coming, at least.
It's beautiful. Yeah, everything you say makes me go deeply. And we're not going to through this like now, but on Lemuria, we believe like there was no like masculinity, femininity, right? We create in some ways alone, we just connected the parts of ourselves, and in some ways this is where we're going to return as well, like because masculinity and femininity, it's the force inside of us.
Yes. Mm-hmm. It's very interesting. Yesterday or 2 days ago, I had an interview with Rosa Leonor. She's an author of a book about Lilith, the primordial woman. And we had this exchange about women and men are never equal. And she believes deeply that, you know, how can women who generate life be equal to man? Now, I'm not trying to exclude man. This is not the goal, but the goal is to bring woman and feminine power to its righteous place. We are queens, and there are knights. There are no kings. There are knights. So knights and guardians of the sacred water. So I believe that in our modern days we talk about equality of the sacred feminine and the sacred masculine, but I really believe that the source of life itself is the sacred feminine, and we have to start with that. And then, because we create, we bring, we are the mothers of the masculine, we are the mothers of our sons and fathers, we are the mothers. And this is the reality of how life is is going. So we have to come back to the place as queens. As queens, that is where everything around us will start re-equilibrating and rearranging itself automatically. So we are the mothers. This means that also we are responsible on healing ourselves and the masculine as a conclusion, as a result, but it's not the aim, it's not the goal.
It is beautiful when you put on this way, because like women are the divine being, especially because it's the one that creates the life. Men can just give like men in talking like in a weird way. Men can just come and give the juice, and the woman put inside and she make a life. It's not the opposite. Men cannot create a life by itself. A woman in some ways can, because they can just take the juice and put inside and create a life. A man would never be able to make a life without a uterus.
Yes, totally. And also, you see the system of, the masculine principle trying to take over the feminine principle, but it cannot, because it's too big for it. You see, talking about science or talking about anything else where we want to create ourselves life, thinking that we know everything, but we don't know everything. So you see the feminine principle is life itself. Life is so smart, it's so intelligent. Plants, you see it through plants, animals, it's everywhere. It's in us. And till today, just talking about my book about the Lyme disease that I just finished, we don't know anything. We try to solve things, we try to repair things, but without going back to the ancestors' knowledge, because they were connected to the life. They were connected to the flow of life, which is the feminine. They knew how to heal themselves better than us today. Today, we know how to make ourselves sick, which is really funny, but we don't know how to heal ourselves fully. We just know how to make ourselves wait and suffer longer. Let's just see the quantity of pills we take, the antidepressants and all these chemicals that we are still taking in. This is part of also taking care of the feminine. Our bodies, what are we taking in our bodies? What type of vibration, what type of frequency, what type of food, what type of clothes, everything. Everything is desacralized, which means forgotten. We have forgotten the sacredness of life.
This is so beautiful, and this is the answer of everything, because like people are sick because they forget who they are, and they are completely disconnected from nature. We are nature. The body is nature.
Yeah.
So I would like to ask it more about like what do you do, and more like what do you do? Because like when I look to you, I just you describe yourself as a rose, but when I look to you, what I see it's like the Akashic records. The image I have of you, it's like a beautiful library, like an ancient library, an energetic library. This is the idea I have about you. And you publish many books. You teach. You travel to different countries to like spreading this amazing wisdom. I would like to ask more about what you do, but in this beautiful way that you describe, that it's not just about, I'm going to ask you again, how do you serve? And in the question is more to explain about the kind of knowledge or the kind of path, the kind of journey you more about your path and more about your knowledge.
Very interesting that you bring the library, because I've always seen myself as a scribe, working like Thoth or Sechet, the Egyptian gods, god and goddess, keepers of the record, but also bringers of ancient knowledge. So the idea is how to maintain that connection and how to make space for myself in my daily life, within me, to bring those memories, to bring that wisdom and bring it into books that are digestible. Because in our modern times, it's very funny because, we have a lot of distraction, we have a lot of also our attention span got reduced so much. So my goal is how to bring this knowledge in a digestible, easy way, depending the level of the person that I speak to. So this is, I think this is very linked to our capacity to shapeshift, because a book, when you open it, you read, you get what you need at that moment, and you get what you can understand. If you take the same book 10 years after, you will learn something new. You will be on another stage of your life. And I think our role as a script is to be able to shapeshift, to metamorphose according to the person we are facing or the public we are speaking to. So knowledge in itself has different stages, has different levels of initiation. And when we go through that by ourselves, but when we remember the stages of initiation, we can then set them according to our essence. We can set them for people to cross them, like the moon. The moon card in tarot, the initiation card, where we have to cross the water, and then we have to go through a serpentine path to arrive to that moon, which is the image of beautiful eclipse. And that's where we can see the reality. We have to do the path. So writing for me is like I'm taking a journey. I'm having a journey. And chapter by chapter, it's as if I remember more, and old values, new values get imprinted in my own body. So that's about my way of writing. But going back to your question about why, why do, and all, I do a lot of things. I think that one of our roles is also to shine wherever we go. There's this weaving the old memories through the land, because when we travel, we are also connecting with the energy of the land and repairing what needs to be repaired, remembering what was there from the old. So when we travel, there are some things that are at work through our body, through our all energy levels, energy bodies. Things are working and we are being worked through. This is what it means to kind of be a channel of transformation and transmutation. You allow yourself, you are of service to the flow of life, to work things through you, and you become like an information. It's like a computer. Life is really mathematics. It's as if you take yourself and you are put into a program. By being injected to that program, there are a lot of change that happens. So we are glitches in a way in the programs, and we are placed on some places to act in this way.
Thank you. It's a beautiful word to share. Right now, as you say that, I've been remember when you start to describe yourself and you say something that made a lot of sense to me when you describe in some ways we needed to all experience the patriarchal society and then understand about the sacred feminine. So on this way, what means the sacred feminine for you? And what do you think we needed to do for activate this more and more in us, in the life, or to help?
Yeah, I think I mentioned just briefly earlier that, talking about the sacred waters, flow, life at the source, the ancient memory of life that never dies, all of this for me is the feminine. It's the feminine. In it, we find the masculine. The masculine is not separate. It's within it. So, I mentioned briefly with you also my work about the ancient Amazons of North Africa that I'm doing now. And the ancient Amazons, wherever they were, they woke up because they had to defend. They had to defend their tribes, their principles, their cult. So they didn't become masculine. They just emerged to defend and protect. So from the feminine, the masculine was birthed. Now, when we talk about the patriarchy from the other side, we are really talking about the virus, something coming from different spheres, where its intention is not masculine, its intention is destruction, it's greed, it's based on need. But with the feminine, the mother, there is no need. Everything is there. Everything is available. All is shared. A mother shares always her meals with her sons and daughters. She never takes that only for herself. So life is giving. The feminine is giving. But when it needs to defend itself, it becomes, and it brings forward those values we know about rigidity, force, courage, and all of this. But they are all feminine. So this is really what I believe the feminine principle is. I forgot your other question, the second question.
It's more in the way like how in some ways to activate all of that, or like in us, in like it around us, or like supporting others.
This is very interesting question. It brings me to two steps or two answers. The first one, we have to read. We have to read. We have to rewrite, remember our history, his story becoming her story. So we have to remember how it was before, whether through our celestial memory or through the history of the lands written by man and woman. There are a lot of books that talk about the matriarchal societies, about how things were before patriarchy. I think that those societies know what is feminine and how the society was. So it's not just about being and having and awakening the sacred feminine, it's about employing it. All what we do has implications on society, on our community. So it's not just for yourself. The feminine does not think for itself. It's for everyone. So your awakening is for everyone. So read. That's like, there are many authors that wrote about it, and talking about Vicky Noble, so much authors that have written about it. The second aspect is the initiation, the process of initiation with women that have this process, like the old women's, or I think it's important to be accompanied on this path, because like everything that exists, even within spirituality, there are these perversions where I see it today, like in some events, not all of them, but some events where the feminine is objectified through clothes or way of being or a way of speaking, but I mean, this is we are stereotyping ourselves, we are blocking ourselves, we are imprisoning ourselves in an image of what is sacred femininity. Sacred femininity is different for every one of us, even man. And if we don't undergo an initiation, a proper initiation within ourselves, with our own remembrance, journeys, experiences, and so on, we won't remember it. We will take another person's perception for ours. So as much as feminine and sacred feminine is about the global, the whole, we have to also understand the individuation principle. It's like, where are we coming from? What are our powers? What is our mission? And so on. Yeah, so this is why I really suggest for this path. And this combines the logic and the practical, talking about books and so on, and also the spiritual. Always both have to be together.
Yeah, it was together in the past. Just this society that divided everything. In the past was together in the temples, or even in the monastery that was not Christian monastery. They used to study it all together. It was like the monastery was like a university, it was also like a factory, because we needed to also create the prosperity. The things are not divided. It's beautiful how you put it. I would like to ask you to tell more about your books, like the inspirations, and also like the titles, what you're talking about, and if you can like explain a little bit about some of your books.
Sure. I write about different topics. For example, the last one I was talking about is about the Lyme disease because I suffered from it for many years. And I did many things to help myself, whether it's spiritually and also therapeutically, from herbalism, naturopathy side, Chinese medicine, and so on. So I'm combining all of this in a book to a practical book for people who are suffering from it. So this is my last baby. I have other babies, also one about the wisdom of the Arabic letters and their mysteries and how they uncover the mission we have on life. So everyone's name has a lot of secrets, and I deliver in this book a way to decipher the symbolism of these names. Other books that I can mention about psychic protection, how to protect ourselves from an energy perspective, the medicine of roses. I had some also oracle decks to infuse the teachings in image basis, which is easily grasped and taught. Could be cosmic laws. Become an oracle is another project. I think I made many, but I don't remember all of them. The feminine and masculine, where we dissecate these principles to learn from them what is really masculine, what is really feminine. Yeah, so I love writing, and I think this is one of the ways I have to deliver, and I hope to continue more for the next years.
I hope so too. And okay, can you tell me more about what is these codes of the rose or the mystery of the rose? What it means for you?
Yeah, of course. The Temple of Roses for us is the temple where we are initiated to discover our essence, why we are coming here, and to bring that essence on the physical plane. So we could learn the medicine of roses, but it is the medicine of roses that brings us to discover that essence. It's beyond the physical aspect of the rose. The rose becomes the master or the mistress that initiates us. So, for example, I can talk about some priestesses that some of them discovered that she could help become a doula. Some of them discover that, okay, fashion is the way for them to help women. Some discover that, okay, my pathway is to help women with horse therapy and so on. So it's as if it's a transformative temple where we get clarity about our mission and remove the disturbances that have been pushing us away from what we have to do. So that's for the first year. The initiation, the second year, is about embracing the mother, the cosmic great mother, where we connect to the ancient principle of what is a goddess, the real mother of all the goddesses, where we discover also that we have tools to use to manifest what we are, whether that's writing, music, geometry, and so on. We have to relearn these languages again, music, and so on, because words are very effective, right? I write books, I can say that, but we have other ways of transmitting who we are. And we have to regain, again, those languages in our way of living. Last week I went to a music festival concert, classical music concert, and I found it so moving. I was transported. I was channeling in that concert because the quality of the music is so mathematically harmonious that it opens channels. So we have to choose, starting the second year, for example, we have to choose where we go, where to act, how to be of service fully, which means that we start putting the mission at the center of our lives, not the job, not this and that, but we become really of service, like hopefully 100%, but at least the most close to the fullness, the fullness expression of our essence, to be of service to the divine waters.
This is so beautiful. Like, I feel so inspired for every single word you say. For me, it's like oh my God, it makes so much sense to me. It's like you are talking direct to my heart. It's beautiful. Thank you.
Thank you.
And even when I'm a path in some ways, like a lot of knowledge we share together. But when I feel like a woman as you, like fully living in your purpose and like sharing your light, living like as a priestess, it's beautiful, this path. And I always feel very inspired for women that follow this rose path, because all of them, they are so wisdom, so wise, so beautiful, but in some way so humble. And it's so beautiful. And it inspired me a lot. But I would like to ask you, like, how do you see yourself like in 10 years?
Interesting question. You know, that's a very interesting question because I'm learning not to travel that much on time. Because when you connect to the flow, you don't need to travel in the past or in the future in the way we know, right? Like all old experiences or future experiences, future desires. It's as if you transcend time and you travel up and down. It's not past or future. You travel up and down. And through the emotional states, the vibration, the memories, talking about the celestial memories and the earth memories, not our own human memories. So I don't know how, I don't know even if I will be here or what it will be, or but there is a desire, deep desire that I have, is the awakening of women in North Africa to what they were, descendants of ancient Amazons, descendants of matriarchal tribes that were honoring the Great Mother. That is one of my deep desires. And of course, I have different kind of like, you know, desires and dreams, you know, for example, and going back to Japan, which is where I got the Lyme disease. I want to go back to honor the cycle of many, many years of kind of going through that disease, to say, listen, I decided, talking to the land of Japan, saying, listen, I decided to take that battle, and here I am again. I didn't think that I would be able to travel again, but here I am again. So there are some kind of dreams like this, you know, coming to my conscious field, but I don't know. I just follow the flow. That's it.
And it is so beautiful, and you live in you fully living in some ways, because the only place we live, it's the present. This is the only thing we have. It is beautiful. Thank you for sharing. We are coming to the end soon. So I would like to ask, can you like to share some message or some knowledge with people that it's here as right now, to inspire it or to helping them to connect it with themselves?
Well, there was a specific message that came for our interview this morning about the wheel of change and the cycles of life, and how it's important to continue our evolution, because if we don't, we devolve. There's devolution by adding that D at the beginning. Evolution means we don't have to be stuck in one idea, one principle, one definition. This is not the flow. The divine flow, the divine waters need constant movement where we can feel stable. Of course, we need definitions of what is the sacred feminine and so on, but they are just allowing us to go to the next step. And maybe in the future, we won't need words to define things, because there is that inner knowing that exists within us. And maybe that would be interesting to connect to it. But evolution, continue your evolution, continue learning. You know, I brought to this interview, you know, Rosa Leonor or the other lady, Luisa Gonzalez. They are ladies in the 70s, 75, 78 years old. Goodness, they are still studying, they are still learning and still researching. And I mean, they are examples to follow. So that curiosity, keeping it up, and not because that's the thing. Do not die by staying in one concept and one definition. Always continue your evolution. Regressing, don't regress, but continue to progress. And the judgment is not from the flow, because when you judge, you are stuck in one idea, one principle, one point of view. There's no judgment in the flow. The flow continues. There is no judgment. Oh, this happens. Okay, I will become solid. Oh, this happens. I will become liquid. Oh, there is no stagnation moment. And judgment is stagnation. So don't judge each other's for how you are, what you are, and so on. But learn from yourselves, each other's. You are all sisters, and confirm your path. It can be different from others. Confirm it. Go deeper in it, because if you are in it, it means you have something to bring that is unique to you. Each one of us has a different path, but we are all part of the same river.
It's so beautiful. Like, as I say, like, you really inspired me a lot. And I'm sure like you're inspiring people that it's listening us. So on the description of this podcast, we're going to have your links. But I would like to ask to you, like, how people find you, how we get to know more about your books and about your courses, or about where you are in the world doing like your workshops or retreats.
People can find me online. I'm quite present via my two websites, coremagic.com, which is the publication and the house of publication we have for books and cards and so on, and via my academy, ouassimagic.com. They can find me through journeys that, in Portugal or somewhere. But the most important thing is that if you feel a call, just send me an email.
It is beautiful. Thank you so much for being the person you are, and for your awakening, and for like also help me to remember who I am, and for your words and for your time right now.
Thank you so much for inviting me and for trusting the flow. Thank you so much.